Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
And hello there.
So, I just saw this headline and it's like, we just got to make a video on this because it just shows you how backward thinking so much of the country still really is, and so much of the world. And unfortunately, it's like on Twitter every single day, I see people, politicians, and I can reel off a ton of names that are constantly, quoting the Bible, for instance, and that's fine. There's so many hearts and loves and likes and retweets, and here we see we're not even talking about really religion. We're talking about health, mental and physical health. And here we see an Alabama bill will allow yoga in schools. It's stalling as opponents fear its ties to Hinduism. It's just mind-boggling that in this age we could still have so much fear about others, not even just philosophies and beliefs, but practices, and practices that have been shown to have tremendous benefits for us in many different ways, mind, body, spirit.
Oh, absolutely. This really saddens me because it's just one more example of how our health and healing is tied around certain dogmas. And if people were able to break out of that box, they might find some amazing healing therapies if they were not so afraid. But with the system that we're in today, it's more of a medical business. It's not even a medical practice.
Exactly. So since 1993, Alabama has had a ban on yoga instruction in public schools. And so that's just to me, it amazes me because we've seen so many studies that have shown the benefits of yoga, meditation, and practices like that. And Qigong, it's not devil worship. It's crazy to think about the indoctrination, how strongly indoctrinated people are. And this is why I think it's not a left versus right mindset where unfortunately, people will blame the one side for everything. But both sides have been, basically had their minds twisted in such ways that, there's these negative conditioned responses on both sides, left and right. And so we see here this bill introduced earlier this year by Representative Jeremy Gray would remove the ban on yoga, allowing K-12 students to enrolled in public school to take a class as an elective, just an elective. You can't take that instead of some other sort of PE, It's crazy. Whether the classes offered would be left up to local boards of education, but the bill would allow the class to be presented as an option. I can give you a ton of reasons why yoga is beneficial, and those reasons are backed by studies and data, Grace said in an email to CNN. There is no study to my knowledge that says doing yoga converts people to Hinduism. And when people are growing up with only given one particular mindset, and as we're saying here, we're really just talking about health and well-being, but when you're only given one option, one mindset, and you have to believe that, it's such indoctrination. That is totally Gestapo-ish. And we might not look at that because we feel we've been brought up to think it's all American. That if you're all American, then you have to be a Christian, and maybe even in certain parts of the country, in one particular sect of Christianity, so to speak. As we know, there's over 30,000 different types of Christianity. It's just crazy to me, and I think it's part of our mission is to show just how we need to get past all these different prejudices and biases and irrational fears that have been so drilled into us. Yoga would be valuable to students, Gray argues, not just for its physical benefits, improving balance, flexibility, core strength, but also for mental health benefits. Across the country, suicide rates have been rising. In Alabama, they're higher than the national average. with 17 people between the ages of 15 and 24 dying by suicide per 100,000 people. Yoga could help students deal with stress and anxiety. For sure. There's no doubt about it, because when you learn how different breathing patterns affect the chemical makeup of the body and what chemicals are being produced by the body, it's just basic health science.
Most definitely. And breathing can actually change your consciousness. And I look at this and it just really saddens me that these children are not being given this opportunity to expand their lives, expand their health because of our old ways. Hopefully this will bring some light to the subject. Hopefully this is going to get some people's attention, and hopefully we're awake enough now as a society where enough people will speak up and say, hey, this is more of an opportunity. This is not something that should be feared. I'm really hopeful that something like that is going to happen here.
So, here you go, and we see critics like Becky Garrettson, executive director of the Eagle Forum of Alabama, which is a conservative advocacy group, says the bill is unnecessary. The group spoke against the bill on Wednesday during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing. Students in Alabama schools already do stretches and other movements. Garrison said the bill would add meditation and guided mindfulness, which she argues violates the Constitution's Establishment Clause, which prohibits the teaching of religion in public schools. We should not be spending taxpayer money, resources, and time teaching children Eastern spiritual practices, she told CNN. So, she's obviously very ignorant, just plain and simple, extremely ignorant, and just has no clue as to, what is really going on, because there's so much benefit, so many different benefits to it. Here we see 9 benefits of yoga, and of course there's many different types of yoga. Hatha yoga is yoga for health, and I'm sure that's probably mostly what they want to make available for kids. There's different types. As we know, there's so many different types of yoga. There's Raja yoga, which is royal yoga, which includes different practices, including more of a meditative state. And there's Kriya yoga, which Yogananda taught in Sri Yugotswar, and there's Kundalini yoga. There's so many different forms of yoga. But I'm sure they're talking just about basic Hatha yoga, which has so many benefits. And here we're going to look at 9 benefits of yoga. Improves strength, balance, and flexibility. And again, this is from Johns Hopkins, which is very, very, obviously Western establishment, hopkinsmedicine.org. Yoga helps with back pain relief. It can ease arthritis symptoms, benefits heart health, relaxes you so you sleep better, can give you more energy and brighter moods. Yoga helps you manage stress, connects you with a supportive community, and promotes better self-care. And there's been tons of scientific research on it, including the U.S. military, the National Institute of Health, and many other big organizations. And I have another link for you guys, and you see Harvard Health publishing from Harvard Medical School, benefits beyond the mat, and it gets into some different types of yoga. So really, this is exactly the type of fear-based conditioning that is keeping this planet in the dark ages. And that's really what's going on here. It's absolute, complete ignorance from indoctrination.
Well, and it's a lot about controlling us from cradle to grave, having a hand in our health, the very thing that can keep us free. It's making sure they have a grip on that until we're no longer on this earth.
Yeah, we've had clients too say things like, "Well, I don't think in the past, I don't think I want my chakras open up, because maybe that's going to open me up to devils and demons that are going to get inside and take me over," when that's exactly the opposite of the truth. When your chakras are open, then you're connected to your higher self, and you can make distinctions that you can't make when they're closed. And this is so purposeful, where everything is completely backwards, And, closed chakras basically keep you cut off from the higher realms. So that makes it easier for the dark energies, the dark entities, to latch on and control you. Exactly the opposite of what you want. But that's why they've conditioned this they've given this fear-based conditioning. So they could keep in control of people that are in this mindset.
Yeah, it's really sad and unfortunate that, people who do have certain abilities and do have gifts are kind of painted in a light where, oh, they're evil or they're demon possessed or something of that nature, when in reality, what we're doing is we're helping other people with their energy body. We happen to have that ability. It doesn't make us bad people. It's just a certain thing that we can do to help others, and that might free others from the medical system.
Yes, and again, it all boils down to control, with a capital C there. Control, 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 and question. There was a top right politician that was, again, basically saying the Nicene Creed, and they don't even understand how that came about to be. Or maybe they do. Maybe they understand that they're working part of the control grid, that they are part of the control grid, the draconian reptilian mindset that controls the planet. And, because all they do every day is quote so many quote unquote scriptures, all about, fear of the Lord, and restating like the Nicene Creed verbatim, because what they're doing there is all these people that are looking up to them, because, again, they've grown up in a conservative area, so they will do as so many will do, and just vote one party on everything. They'll just side with one party on everything, instead of looking at things item by item and saying, okay, well, the left is really screwed up over here, but the right's really screwed up over there. And, finally getting the big picture. It's two sides of the same coin. Heads you win, tails you lose.
Yeah, it's pretty basic, really, once you get the bigger picture and once your eyes are opened. There's no closing them. So those of you that do listen to the channel and that do help wake up your friends and your family, don't be frustrated with them. Don't give up. Just keep planting those seeds, because we need to wake up as many as possible so we can bring things to our children that are going to help them throughout their entire life. We want them to have these opportunities.
Yeah, it's not good for kids to do mindful meditation, but it's perfectly okay to go get a script shun that's going to cause all sorts of issues, on down the line. It's just so this system is completely upside down, and it's time for people to wake up and realize that. And I know most of you guys are completely awake. You guys that follow us on a regular basis and are part of the family. We're not talking about you guys, but it's still too many people being controlled with these partisan belief systems that are totally, down one side of thinking, and thinking everything else is demons. And, there's a lot of demons in dogma.
I like it. I like it.
Yes, dogma is definitely the doctrine of demons.
Thank you. I really like that. I think I'm going to use that later.
Yeah, I think so too. So thanks, guys, for being part of the family. Thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon as we try to wake up the world, so it keeps waking up one person at a time and recognizing, the system of control that has been so deeply embedded in this world, and as we shed it and start to be able to come together, because this doctrine of demons that's known as dogma is all about division.
Yes, and we're going to just keep unchaining one soul at a time.
God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.